Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Skibitth here, and today we are building something new. We are starting a new series based on Bucharest, the capital of Romania and the city I live in for quite a lot of time now. And yes, I asked you guys what should be the next series based on, and you voted to go for something from the east side of Europe, and I decided to be Romania. And well, no regrets, definitely no regrets, because this series, guys, is going to be based on of course, as much as possible, a one-to-one build from Google Earth, and not only, because I also go to the ground level trying to film something with my camera, so you guys can see things much better. But let's have a very quick look on Google Earth to see where Bucharest is situated. It's very close to the southern border of the country, and the entire map of the city is pretty big actually, and it's split in 6 different districts, which means 6 different mayors. And the map, which was created by Mr. Miyagi, and a big thanks to him, it's covering a big part of the city, but not entirely the city, mostly the northern part. Before we continue with this, let's have a better look on Google Earth, because I want to show you what we are building. I started this video by showing a build for a road. That is the national road number 1, which is this one. And of course it starts from the city center, and it goes outside the city through the north part of the city near one airport, which I'm gonna build eventually. And there is a second big airport here, and then the road keeps going to the mountainside around here, this way. This is the area that is very well known in our country, and where most of the people living in Bucharest just go there almost every weekend, and the road is just dead because of the traffic and so on. Having a quick look at this road, it is a national road with 3 lanes per way. And there are plenty of bridges like this that are on top of a roundabout. I'm not going to show the entire build today, but this one goes into the city and then goes over here, one of the biggest boulevards over here, the 𝐒𝐄𝐓 Road. Boulevard. It's starting from here and it goes back here to the Victory Square. And the main build that you're gonna see today, guys, it's going to be related to the Arc de Triomphe in Bucharest, which is it's a copy of the one in Paris. So I've been using a lot the overlay mod that allows you to get a map, and you can overlay it on your city, on your map. And this whole map was done by Mr. Miyagi long time ago. I think he even forgot about it. Anyways, and he gave me a screenshot from Google Maps with the city itself, so I can overlay it on my map, and to be able to do all these roads properly and without many mistakes, let's say, because probably I will have some mistakes and things that cannot be replicated one-on-one, but still, you know what, it's really working perfectly. I'm using a lot of the curbless roads. I think these curbless roads are one of my favorites nowadays, and I'm using them a lot in my games, in all my series. And that is because it gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want, create all sorts of roads. And if you want to have like a whole asphalt road, even though cars will not just drive over those, you can simply just add a clipping network underneath and then mask everything else with ploppable asphalt. It's as easy as that. Super easy. For the asset Arc de Triomphe, I've been using the vanilla Arc de Triomphe, and that is because it's easy to PO it. So I need to make this one way much smaller. But I know there is one Arc de Triomphe on the workshop, and which is really good and beautiful, but that one cannot be PO'able, and that is because when you do that, lots of stuff are missing from there, and most likely that is because it's not made of one piece, and once you do change it to PO, some stuff are disappearing. But there is good news, because if you look here in the picture from left to right, left is vanilla, middle is the one made by Armesto for France, and on the right side actually it's the one made for Bucharest by Peter Bar. And I want to say big thank you to you, Peter, for your help with this. He also asked me to go and take some shots, recordings and whatnot from the Arc de Triomphe, so he can make the textures and add them on this building. Who actually made it long time ago. It's not yet finished. This is a very old version of the Arc de Triomphe, but still it is there, and I will replace it as soon as he will finish with the new textures. But thank you again, mate. Really appreciate it. Making the road markings was a bit challenging, and that is because here I'm just trying to join many roads into many intersections, and as you can see there are holes between these roads, and exactly where we have those holes, so nothing, right? I have to add those lines, and it's really hard. So I had my plans, and I tried to make create a new separate road and make the markings on that road, and then move the road into those empty spaces, to cover them and to make them look good. In some cases they are working pretty good, but there are other cases I had to change the plan, and to do so I just started and making my own lines. I made them out of ploppable asphalt, just make it very small, and then color it with white color, placing it on the ground over and over again. Yes, it took a lot of time, but you know what, the outcome is what it matters. Moving back to this monument, to the Arc de Triomphe, let's focus on it a bit and just do the area surrounding it, because it's actually in real life it's also surrounded by a concrete curb and some bollards, and I'm gonna add that one over here because I use the curbless roads, and now to make some concrete curbs right around it I have to do it manually. So I'm just using those concrete little curbs, and it's simple. Just after doing the first part I can simply just copy paste it, and on the other side as well. This entire area it's going to be filled in with ploppable pavement. In real life it's not fully filled with concrete. There are some pedestrian let's say pathways where people can walk, and the rest it's made out of some white type of gravel, it's just for the looks. I can't add that unfortunately here, but it is what it is, right? So then in the middle there we have another road, let's say a road that is being closed to traffic, but it is open only one time per year, and that is on 1st of December, like today, when is the National Day and there is a military parade there, and most of these military vehicles are just driving through that through the Arc de Triomphe, which is beautiful. But I have to be honest with you and to recognize I've never been there ever at any parade so far. Another important detail is the arrows. So I'm adding a lot of arrows on this road, especially in this big roundabout. Even though I haven't said that, and I should have started that, this whole area around the Arc de Triomphe, it's not working as a roundabout. It has traffic lights and road markings, so in case the traffic lights are not working, you have priority or you have to give way from different directions. But it's not mandatory that person who is in the roundabout, let's call it, has priority as well. Also, another thing that I've done, and you probably didn't notice, and that is because I cut it from the videos, it's the road names. So I'm also using the road names to make sure I'm replicating the ones from real life, especially for Romanians who will see this. They will know exactly those roads, boulevards, and so streets and so on. So yeah, I did that. Plus, of course, let's not forget about a very small detail which is important for Romanian roads. Lots of cracks, lots of patches and ugly stuff, because when you drive on these roads, your car is suffering big time. There is a small area right inside of this big whole roundabout, right next to the big park we have here, where buses can stop. People can come by the bus, take the bus and so on, but you can do that. And those there are 3 shelters that are painted in the national colors, blue, yellow and red. And that was also very interesting and challenging for me to do that small area, to make that green, very green, let's say planter right in the middle of or between the roundabout itself and the road where the buses are stopping. Pretty interesting. I'm not gonna tackle the park. This park was, before it was called Herostro Park, and now it's called King Mihai's Park. It got the name after our previous king died some years ago. This maybe it will be in a complete different episode. Definitely, it's a huge park and it has a lot of things, so it would be very, very hard for me to do it. Not impossible, but very, very hard. And my episodes are focused on a main build, like in our case the Arc de Triomphe over here, and the surrounding area of this Arc de Triomphe are like secondary builds, and I'm just gonna do some stuff to replicate them as close as possible, but not with too many details. And that is because it's impossible for me to do this whole city, or at least a big part of the city, fully detailed. It's really, really impossible, and I can't do that. Anyways, this area, this whole park, it's actually surrounded. It has a fence. If you want to go into the park, you have to go through the main entrances, and that's it. You can't just go and cross it wherever you want to. All these pathways as well that are on the roadside are pretty big, and actually they're really wide over here, and most of them have a, let's say, a bike pathway as well. It's more like, they just draw on these or marked the pedestrian area with special colors to make it like bicycle routes as well, roads as well, but it's actually not, to be honest. We are all walking and riding the bikes on the same place, nothing else. This very big boulevard has a lot of trees, and also there are lanes that are being separated by green planters and trees and more trees. And this is one of the most beautiful boulevards in Bucharest, and it's huge. I love driving there, especially during the nights, and also around all the other boulevards around this Arc de Triomphe area. It's really, really cool and beautiful. On the left side of the Arc de Triomphe, we have the very big church there, and then in front of it or next to it, it's a huge area with beautiful buildings where people can go and get married and so on. Even though it's very, 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 very huge, I know. So I'm gonna finish this episode by building this whole area over here, surrounding it, and a few buildings over here too. But this is the main one that will have to be done today as well, with little details all over here and there. Okay, so this whole area that we just talked about, it is completely surrounded by fences, and usually what you might see also in Bucharest is many big boulevards. They have the pedestrian area, which is of course right next to the road, but between the road and the pedestrian area there is also almost always a green area where, like a planter, and where you can see flowers, trees, bushes, or maybe even nothing, but it is there. For this whole area that I was telling you, it's the place where people can get married. I had to use some buildings made by Thomas, I think, or something like that. They are very Mediterranean-ish, but based on the roofs, they are very look alike, and I wanted to use those. This is not a very detailed area, so I don't want to get too much into it. It's not the main build for this episode, but I have to fill all the areas surrounding our, as I said, main build. There is also a very small park area there for children for some reason. I don't know. I've never been inside this yard over here to see what things are there, so I can't say too much about it, but I always pass near it. I found some really cool assets on the workshop for the gates that fit perfectly, and I had to use those. And also at the entrance of the gates there's like a place, where the person that is guarding the entrance and checking everything, so I had to use that as well. And you will see a lot of cars in Bucharest. You will see cars parked on the roadside, on the pathways, on the green area, wherever they can. If I'm not mistaken, there are around 2-3 million cars in Bucharest, and only maybe 30k places to park the car. So you can do the math and see exactly that we don't have room for our cars. You can't park the car anywhere. It's not pleasant, but it is what it is actually. So I'm gonna do that very often in my videos over here, and park some cars on the pathways and everywhere, because it looks cool. I know it's not actually, but it is what it is. That's how it is in real life here in Bucharest. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I don't know when the next episode will be scheduled, but definitely it will be taking into account your feedback. If you guys really did enjoy these videos, please leave a like and a comment. That will help me a lot. If I get a lot of views and so on, probably I'm gonna post more often. Other than that, who knows, maybe once at 2-3 weeks or once per month. I will see. These episodes take a lot to edit and do and record and everything, so it takes time, but hey, I want to get a really nice series over here. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. I salute you.